Kicking Aging's Ass with Dr. Dave Marcone. And I'm Dr. Marcone. I appreciate you tuning in today. This is the first video blog that I've done under this name, Kicking Aging's Ass. And I kind of want to outline my goals and what you can expect as a viewer or a subscriber from this video blog. First of all, I always want to talk about the name, why Kicking Aging's Ass. And I'll be real honest with you, it wasn't the first name that I came up with. But in a day where you have to have a domain name, the names that I came up with, which were a little bit more pleasant, were all taken. And actually, in a bit of frustration, I put in Kicking Aging's Ass, and of course, nobody had that domain name, and I reacted. I bought it. I have a little bit of buyer's remorse. I can't deny that. I thought, wow, I'll probably offend some people with this, and that's definitely not me. So I brought it up to a few colleagues, some of my patients here in the office, and surprisingly, everyone was very enthusiastic about it and actually said, you know what, Doc, it really fits you. And I was like, fits me how? And it's like, you're enthusiastic, you're right to the point, you're, no holds barred and very true. And I'm like, well, okay, good. So here we are. So if I offend somebody, hey, I apologize, it wasn't my intention. Number two, I want to talk about why you should watch this video. And there's a couple of main topics I want to hit with that. First of all, what kind of doctor am I? Chiropractor. I've been practicing chiropractic here in the Cincinnati area for 33 years. And it's very interesting. My initial focus was on sports chiropractic, in that I've got my sports certification in sports chiropractic, and I worked with a lot of different high schools. I was honored to be a chiropractor for a university for many years, working with all their athletes and all their staff. Had the honor to work on some pro athletes, a lot of college athletes, as I said, and then weekend warriors, so to speak. So initially that was my focus, and that was great, but then I realized it's like there's a lot of other people out there, and these same techniques, not just with the chiropractic, but involving exercise, rehabilitation, and nutrition, are important to everyone, from the gentleman working construction to the woman who's pregnant and has a few kids of her own and working a job. It was probably as strenuous, if not more, than the athletes. So we've been very, very lucky to help a lot of people over the years. Which comes to the other reason I think you should be listening to me, or at least taking in my videos. It didn't start with chiropractic school. I was blessed to have be one of the youngest of a large family, and I got all the extras, including the old York barbells, the ones that were plastic and filled with sand. My younger brother and I lifted weights at our house since we were 10, 12 years old. And initially the exercise and lifting weights was for sports, to be a better athlete, to be a better participant. But over a period of time, the lifting of weights and watching of the nutrition for the sport became more of what I was passionate about than the sport itself. And so that took me through college, where I started out in exercise physiology, got into biology, and then chose Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa. So I guess the biggest thing I want to take from that just little segment is the fact that I've been doing this for myself since I was very young. It's a passion, and I was doing a lot of the things that I'll talk about before they became trendy. A friend of mine, we spoke about, he's about my age, I'm 60. We spoke about lifting weights back in the day. It was weird. There weren't many places to lift weights. And so we were a little odd, carrying jugs of water around, packing our own food, preparing our food, eating more protein, all these things that everybody thought was weird, but now it's something that is recommended by family doctors for everyday people. It's interesting, you can't go out and not see somebody carrying thermoses that have the numbers on it so they can determine how much water they took in. And as far as like preparing food, not only is that very common, but there's now companies that will actually prepare food for you, chop it, measure it, everything, send it to you, and then all you have to do is prepare it and eat it. I mean, wow, isn't that amazing? So again, the interesting part about this is that's been part of my life and something that I've professed to people around me for years, and I'm glad that it's becoming trendy. Having said that, that's one of the reasons why I think this video is very important. There's a lot of stuff out there, and it's very difficult for most of us to figure out what is right for me, what is science, what is garbage. Am I being sold a bill of goods? And you know, I've heard it all the time about whether it be diets or supplements. They'll say, Doc, you have to be a PhD to figure out if they're telling you the truth or not. I get it. So one of the things we want to do here is break down the information so that just about anybody can figure it out. Now, aging. Why aging? Well, as I said earlier, I'm 60. And as I've gotten older, and even though I'm very passionate and it's been habitual for me to be involved with my health, you feel the effects of aging. And right now, depending on who you look at as far as the numbers, the average age of life expectancy in this country is anywhere from 78 to 81 years of age. And of course, females still outlive males. They call that the female advantage. And I'm going to do a video on that, and it has a lot to do with social. Having said that, it's fantastic. But even outside of looking at those numbers, there's people 90 years of age so frequent now. It used to be something that was heralded. Now 100, and we have in the papers people 115, 117. It's amazing. We are living longer, and a lot of it has to do with the environment we live in. And I don't mean pollution. I mean that we have great health care. We have access to lots of things that can save our lives, catch diseases before they become terminal, and also we have reduced the amount of physical stress on ourselves. All those go into extending life. It's fantastic. So during that same time period, we've also seen an increase in the number of years that Americans live with disabilities. So right now, approximately 27% of the American population lives with one or more disabilities. And when we look at an older population, 70, 75 and older, it's almost half, okay? So, it's great to be alive, but what are you going to do with those years if, in fact, you can't walk very far, can't walk, any of those things? And actually, the vast majority of the disabilities are related to mobility and cognitive, or being able to remember. Of course, the big one being Alzheimer's. So, we have constantly have to do things in order to prevent the speed of aging. Again, it's the inevitable. Everybody gets older, but we can make a difference in how fast we age. And actually, most of the statistics that we see regarding disability, the issues are habits, bad habits. That's what creates these. This is not a genetic or anything like that. That plays a much smaller factor in it. And frankly, you might be offended, but I think we use it sometimes as a rationalization to not look closely at ourselves and what we're doing to kind of sabotage our happiness in our life. So this is what we're going to be talking about here at Kicking Aging's Ass. The last thing I want to talk about before I get into a very small topic is, why I'm doing this is for me. And I know that might sound selfish, but I love to create. I didn't even realize it until I got a little bit older, whether it be doing drawings, writing, or producing these videos. And I definitely enjoy teaching and communicating. And I've been told multiple times I have a great way of taking something very complicated, breaking it down so that the vast majority of people can understand it. And having said that, I'm doing this for my happiness, my joy. So if nobody watches it, I'll still be happy to do it because And again, that's something that makes me feel good, and that's what I want to convey even to you, the video watcher. It's like sometimes you have to do things that are creative and make you feel well, even if they're not monetarily valuable, like, you know, nobody's buying it, you're not making money, or you're not gaining any kind of real status within society. Sometimes you do these things because they just make you feel good. They make the time go by so well, and they make you feel like the time that you work and the work that you put in, this is what it's for, so that you can do what you want to do. So, having said that, a basis for what we're going to be discussing here comes down to this. In the United States, we have one of the greatest healthcare systems. You may not agree with me that. I didn't say it was cheap. I didn't say it doesn't have all kind of other, you know, problems. Believe me, I deal with insurance companies too. But when you look at the rest of the world, our access, the number of facilities we have, okay, it's not even close. And when it comes to prescribed medicines, we consume 3/4 of the world's prescriptions. We can get it, okay? So, fantastic, right? It saves lives. It's amazing what we can do. But we deal mostly with what we call the biophysiological effects. Or, in another term, something hurts or something is not working right. And we go to our doctors. And the typical is that after maybe a visit or two and something relatively simple and conservative, we get into more of the special studies, you know, the vast blood work. And again, it's amazing what they can do with MRIs and CTs and all this kind of stuff where we can really see deep inside the body. We locate something, and then we develop a protocol, a plan of action, a medication, a therapy, or in some cases, a surgical intervention. And the goal is that we get rid of the problem, we restore the person to a relative normal, and then they can work on getting back to health and living their life. Fantastic. We call that lineal. Everything fits in there nice and on one level. The problem is as well as we do it here, it's not 100%, it's not even close to 100%. We're lucky if it's 50, 60%, okay? And again, if you're at 60%, that's fantastic. What about the rest of those people? And more importantly, when we do these things, we end up with other problems that surface, maybe not even related, but it's a never-ending battle, right? So the reality is that why do procedures work? Why do some things work? Why do some people always get ill? It's more than lineal. And what I'd like to profess and get across is that humans are not only biological, but psychological and social. Those two other factors, biopsychosocial reality, is a lot where those other 40% or people lie. And that's why things don't work out as we want. It's also one of the reasons why I love this quote from Dr. Albert Schweitzer, famous physician. He said, the greatest doctor lies within inside the patient. And so we, as patients, we know what we feel, but we also know the things that we do, okay? And the only people that can change some of those habits is us. That's easy to say, hard to do. But these are the areas we are going to delve into. And sometimes having a better understanding of why the psychological and the social, or why some of the simple things we can do in changing some of our habits can have a very large impact on the process of aging, the reduction in disability, and the enjoyment of those extra years that Americans are seeing. That's what I want to be able to present to you. We'll be breaking it down from the physical aspects of, certain exercises and diets, maybe even products that are coming up on the market, or things that are in the news or come across my desk that are very topical, and you're probably wondering, is that good for me? You know what? I often wonder that. And I'm going to go in and do the research, reading and looking into that and breaking it down, not to tell you what to do, but to give you a little bit of a better understanding so that you can make a decision. Is that a good product for me to try out? Or, that's not what I'm really looking for. This will help you, again, educate that doctor inside of you so you can help yourself make better decisions. Okay, so here we are. That's the video. Now, I'm going to leave you with a quote that Again, I read tremendous amounts of information. I definitely love quotes. I don't know if I came up with this one or I read it someplace, but I love it and I tell patients about it all the time. The human body is meant to survive, but it's up to us to make sure it thrives. So until next time, I want you to take care of yourself and remember, kick aging's ass. Take care of yourself.